We'll use Practice Set B, Problem 3-2, the first example, as an example of calculating gross pay and withholding for federal income taxes, Social Security, and Medicare. This employee works 42 hours and earns $40.50 an hour. I like this job. There is a 7% contribution to his or her 403B plan, and he or she has earned $117,900 year to date. First, we need to calculate the gross wages. Well, the regular rate of pay is $40.50 an hour. So our overtime rate is equal to the $40.50 per hour times 1.5, or $60.75. So for what I called Part A, the gross wages, this employee has earned $40.50 times the 40 hours plus 2 hours of overtime times the $60.75. So I come up with earnings of $1,741.50. The second part of the problem is to calculate the pay for federal withholding. The amounts of pay for federal withholding, Social Security, and Medicare can all be different. We determined that gross pay was $1,741.50. But there is also a contribution to this employee's 403B retirement plan. Contributions to retirement plans like 403Bs and 401Ks are not taxable for federal purposes. So we are going to deduct the 403B contribution. And that contribution is equal to 7% times the $1,741.50, or $121.91. Or $1,619.59. So that is the amount taxable for federal tax withholding. Next, we'll look at Social Security. The 403B or other retirement plan contributions like 401Ks are not deductible for Social Security purposes. But there is a 2015 Social Security tax threshold of $118,500. Well, we were told that this employee had earned $117,900 year to date before this payroll. In this payroll, we have current earnings for Social Security of $1,741.50. So the total amount after this payroll is $119,641.50. But hey, there's that limit. So we are going to subtract the limit or threshold taxed for Social Security, and this changes generally every year, of $118,500, which means that after this pay period, if we taxed it all, we would be $1,141.50 over the limit. Okay, so we don't want to do that. So we don't want to tax this employee over the limit. So to calculate what we will tax, we'll take the gross pay, which is taxable for Social Security, of the $1,741.50, less the amount that would be over the limit if we taxed everything, to calculate the taxable amount for Social Security this period of $600. You can double check this by taking the previous earnings which were $117,900, add the amount that we are proposing to tax, $600, and see that brings us up to the limit of $118,500. Therefore, we know that this calculation was correct. I always like to have double checks if possible. Finally, we'll determine the taxable amount for Medicare. The 403B contributions are not deductible for Medicare, and there is no limit on the amount of earnings that can be taxed for Medicare. So the taxable amount for Medicare is simply equal to the gross wages for this pay period of $1,741.50.